Ursula von der Leyen urged to resign by Estonian MEP. Sign up for now and never miss the top politics stories again. Subscribe. When you subscribe, we will use the information you provide to send you these newsletters. Sometimes they'll include recommendations for other related newsletters or services. Our privacy notice explains more about how we use your data and your rights. You can unsubscribe at any. The Commission chief briefly triggered Article 16 of the Brexit Protocol 2 weeks ago, sparking the furious reaction of Unionists in Northern Ireland and Boris Johnson's cabinet. The brief trigger saw vaccine exports to Northern Ireland banned by the Commission after a bitter contractual row between the EU and vaccine producer AstraZeneca. Mrs von der Leyen later apologised for mistakes that led to the triggering of Article 16. London, Belfast and Dublin were blindsided by a recent attempt by the Commission to invoke the clause in a row over the supply of vaccines. Irish MEPs in Brussels have said more clarity is needed on how the clause came to be triggered. By Article 16 overrides part of the Northern Ireland Protocol, which prevents a hard border on the island of Ireland, and was intended as an emergency measure. The European Commission quickly backtracked on the decision to trigger it, but it caused massive political fallout, particularly in. Speaking in the European Parliament on Wednesday, Ms von der Leyen said, "The bottom line is that mistakes were made in the process leading up to the decision, but in the end we got it right. And I can reassure you that my Commission will do its utmost to protect the peace in Northern Ireland, just as it has done throughout the entire Brexit process." The chief of the EU executive was speaking to MEPs in the European Parliament following criticism of the slow rollout of vaccines and a plan to curb exports that initially sought to set up a hard border on the island of Ireland, causing an outcry in London and Dublin. Trending. Mrs von der Leyen, who has also spoken at 5 groupings of MEPs over the past few weeks, said 26 million vaccine doses had been delivered and that, by the end of the summer, 70% of adults in the 27-nation bloc should have been inoculated. And yet it is a fact that we are not today where we want to be in the fight against the virus, she told MEP. "We were late with the approval. We were too optimistic on mass production. And perhaps we were also too certain that the orders would actually be delivered on time," However, Mrs von der Leyen defended the Commission's oversight of vaccine orders, saying it would have been unfair and economic madness for the EU single market if just a few large member states had guaranteed. EU leaders have been wary of criticizing Mrs von der Leyen in public so far, but they are furious over the slow rollout of vaccine across all member states, a senior EU official told Politico last. They said, "There is frustration among leaders about the slow rollout of vaccine. We need to talk again." EU governments are under fire over a slow start to vaccinations in the bloc, with critics pointing to progress made in Britain, Israel and the United States as evidence of a planning failure in Brussels. And EU leaders will meet in a video conference to discuss the matter further on February 25. European Council President Charles Michel has confirmed the COVID-19 vaccine crisis, which came to a head with the EU export controls, followed news that AstraZeneca would cut its supply of vaccines to the bloc until March by 60% due to production. Even with the addition of an extra 9 million doses that Mrs von der Leyen announced later, the shortfall is at least 50%. To top it off, a recent study showed that the EU could see a potential €90 billion hit to its economy this year unless it catches up with the pace of COVID-19 vaccinations in other regions. To reach a goal of 70% immunity in adults by the summer, the EU would need a 6-fold increase in the rate of vaccinations, according to the study by insurance group Allianz and credit insurer Euler Hermes, seen by Reuters ahead of. At the current pace, herd immunity would not be achieved before 2022, the study said, adding that the longer it takes to vaccinate Europe's population, the longer the economy will be hampered by restrictions, and €1 that is spent on speeding up vaccinations, though infrastructure, increased vaccine production, could avert 4 times as many euros in losses.